Hello, my name is Maria Bezubova, and you're at my channel Fertilizers Jazz. Here we talk about events, trends, technologies in the world of fertilizers and agriculture. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and let's jazz! Today we continue the analytical mini-series of quarterly market reviews and forecasts from the prominent market analysts. And today we will discuss ammonia market. In order to do this, I am happy to host again a super cool guest, Sylvia Traganida, Senior Ammonia Editor at ICIS. I'm very glad to welcome you, Sylvia, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Hello, Maria. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me, and hello to all our viewers.
Sylvia, I would like to start from looking back at Q1 and check what were those key events that happened in past 3 months that you think will drive the next quarter or maybe even the year ahead. What are those from your point of view?
Of course. Well, it's a repeat of the previous quarter. So the main trends of Q1 were two. So there were natural gas prices and also the lack of demand. So starting with Europe, we have gas prices really shoot up. And this has been because of various reasons. And this has resulted in higher production costs for European fertilizer producers. It has resulted in higher ammonia prices. And also producers just took a backseat in terms of whether to increase production rates or not, because the Q1 is usually like a quiet quarter. People are getting ready for spring. They have seen that natural gas prices were up, so they were just waiting a little bit to see more demand from the urea and the nitrates markets. Which was a bit delayed also because of the winter weather that we had in Northwest Europe in Q1. And this has also been coupled with natural gas supply issues in Egypt, in Iran, in Trinidad. So it seems that that what we were talking about in Q1 was mainly natural gas. Where is it going? Is it going up? When is it going to go down? And it was a big worry for everyone, not only for us reporting on the market, but also for producers and buyers. And the other trend that we saw was the lack of demand in major importing hubs. So places like Southeast Asia, there was little or no demand from the industrial sector, from acrylonitrile, from caprolactam. Also in major market India, there was literally no demand for ammonia from the phosphate sector because traditionally it's a time of scheduled maintenance for more phosphate producers, so they're not out in the market buying ammonia. And also in India they were waiting for the budget and the fertilizer subsidies just to see how things are gonna pan out and just to check the affordability of fertilizers and also ammonia. And yeah, I think generally there was a major lack of demand also in the Americas. So in the US and the domestic market, the weather hindered application and delayed it a bit further. So yeah, the market has been very slow, hibernating, for winter for Q1. But yeah, let's see what Q2 brings.
Yeah, exactly. But if we have a look at ammonia supply, it goes a bit in a different directions with demand. Because during Q1, the length was building and building and building, especially east of Suez. And this ended with the FOB Middle East price crossing, I would say, the psychological threshold of $300 recently. How do you see supply from that region in Q2? And will they still be producing producers that built all those lengths already?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we have seen some length in the east, and I think this applies more to the contract market rather than the spot market. So we have seen prices go down, but I think I think I'm trying to be a bit more optimistic for Q2. I think the market will find its footing in Q2, with more markets stepping in, like India. We have seen some demand there, maybe some demand in Korea and Taiwan. Yeah, I mean, supply is a very, interesting aspect of the market because apart from the usual suppliers, at the moment, we're not expecting anyone to have any scheduled maintenance. So I don't think we'll have any issues in terms of supply. People I've spoken to in Asia are saying that availability is comfortable in the region. I think we will see some more supply coming on stream west of Suez and our part of the world. So with the Gulf Coast ammonia plant in the US. So we're expecting it to start exporting any minute now, and also with the Taman hub in the Black Sea.
Yeah, exactly. And it will build even more length across the globe. How far do you think, as per your evaluation, Middle East producers are now from reaching their, let's say, the bottom of the price, which is obviously related to their break even? Are we close to the bottom or not yet? What do you think?
From what I see in the market, I think we are close to the bottom, and I think the more demand, picks up from the east, I think we will see more, more activity coming out of the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia, from Oman, from Qatar. Also, we will see. And we have seen, the production in Iran, stabilizing. So that will be, obviously, another factor to look at. So I think we are through the worst of it, and yeah, I think things are looking up in the Middle East.
Yeah, let's see how it develops in Q2. As you mentioned, demand was very, very slow in Q1. And which markets do you think will be the key buyers in Q2, those who should bring more demand to the market?
Yeah, at the moment, and we have already seen that, we're seeing a little bit more demand in Europe, as we get closer, to spring application. We're seeing more demand from the urea and the nitrate sectors in Europe. So obviously that has, kickstarted a bit of ammonia demand. We have seen some nitrates producers in Europe, returning to production. And so, yeah, Europe is definitely something that we're looking at for sure. We're also looking at India. There's going to be more, demand coming out of there, with demand for phosphates production. We have seen some scheduled maintenance for phosphate producers in India, but that is expected to finish in April. And I think we will see a bit more demand coming out of the US. So in North America, as the weather gets better, we're seeing more demand for spring application. And we're also seeing buyers out in the market for contract mainly. And yeah, I think those are the main areas that we're looking at for demand.
Right. And you mentioned Europe. Yes, of course it is, and it will be in Q2 one of the most important outlets. But the lower the international ammonia price goes, the more the probability is that European domestic production will be halted and imports will increase. Do you see such trend developing now or not? How do you think it will develop in Q2?
Yeah, I mean, so far, you're right. We had seen this exact case. So far, because of also the natural gas prices going up, we had seen low production rates in most fertilizer producers in Europe. Either lower rates or just stopping production temporarily. But even in the last week or so, we have seen some producers returning to the market. and increasing their production rates or restarting, ammonia production or ammonium nitrate production. So I think they're also, getting ready for spring application. Yeah, they're getting ready for spring application, but also they're seeing a little bit of bounce back from the urea and nitrates markets. It's a little bit of we're seeing prices from the urea market going up after the announcement of the India tender. And most importantly, we're seeing natural gas prices softening a bit. Of course, who knows how long this will last, and it all depends on the greater scheme of things and what's happening globally, geopolitically as well. But yeah, at the moment, I'm being optimistic for Europe. Only because the signs are there, from the urea and from the nitrates markets and also from the natural gas prices.
We have discussed a couple of times before that potentially Middle East volumes, where the most of the length is built, at certain price, let's say after a certain threshold, can come to Europe. The threshold is there, I think. $300 FOB and lower is already a very, very significant difference between prices in Middle East and in Europe. Do you think it's something that could happen sometime, in some time soon, that Middle East will come to Europe or not?
Well, at the moment, we're only seeing products from North Africa, so from Algeria mainly and a little bit from Egypt. Having said that, we have seen in the past a couple of cargoes in the past 2-3 years coming to Europe from Saudi, but those cargoes were for blue ammonia. So in terms of gray ammonia, maybe, if there's no other, outlet for Saudi products, for instance, for gray ammonia, I think it could come to Europe. Also, freight rates seem to be, at a stable level. So I think it would make sense. However, I'm going to preface this with a caveat that all this will also depend on logistics. For instance, the Red Sea, situation. So at the moment, only a few, vessels are going through the Red Sea and through Suez. So buyers need to take that into account if they want to bring Saudi, material or Middle East material to Europe. But I don't think it's out of the question, and I don't think it's, impossible in the future.
Yeah, interesting. Let's see how it develops. You already mentioned US. Can you please tell a bit more how the situation with demand is developing there? When will be the peak of demand for spring application? So when the market should expect the most of the movements of the product to the US direction?
Yes, I mean, in terms of the US, we're seeing a little bit more demand, picking up. So far, it was, hindered by winter, adverse weather conditions. But we're seeing in some of the states that, the weather's getting better. We're already in April. So we're seeing a bit of pickup in demand in the domestic US market. So far, the lack of demand was reflected also in the monthly Tampa contract prices that kept going down since the beginning of the year. But I think with the closer we get to spring application to May to spring, I think we were seeing more demand, and also we're seeing more demand in the domestic US market for ammonia. Also for nitrates production and urea for the domestic market. So I'm very hopeful that the US market is going to pick up in the short term. Yeah, and also in terms of availability, it seems that there's ample availability from Trinidad. And as I said, we are also waiting for the Gulf Coast ammonia plant to come on stream. Most of it will be for export, but some of it will be for the domestic market. So yeah, I think we will see more demand from the US for sure.
Thank you. And Right now, there are so many questions surrounding the situation in US, which obviously influences the whole global situation, not only their domestic situation. And the word that I hear most often during past couple of months is tariffs, of course. For ammonia, it is not that vital as for some other fertilizers like potash, for example. But still, can you please elaborate more if and how this situation with tariffs can influence ammonia flows or ammonia market?
Of course, yes. I mean, everyone is talking about tariffs, not only in the US, but everywhere in the world, because it is going to affect the whole world, either directly or indirectly, on a psychological, level. So in terms of the US tariffs, it will affect ammonia, because the US exports, ammonia to exports ammonia, and also because they import ammonia from Canada as well. So it will definitely have an effect on ammonia. You're right. Mostly it will affect, finished, fertilizers. But those, finished fertilizers need ammonia to be produced. And if there are any, tariffs or future tariffs, of course that will have an effect on the market. And the market, is volatile at the minute, and doesn't need any more, any more shaking up. So yeah, more tariffs is, or the instability of tariffs is definitely going to create some worry for market players in the ammonia market. But I think at the end of the day, it will definitely have an effect. And also at a time when, the demand in the US is going to pick up, they don't need any more, any more trouble in their mind. And yeah, let's see what happens also with the, with the May Tampa contract price, because the April one was settled at a decrease. So let's see if the introduction of tariffs translates to an increase in the Tampa price.
Yes, indeed. And there is one more topic, ongoing discussion, let's say in the US. It is related to the penalties for Chinese-built vessels and Chinese operators of the vessels. Do you have information how it can influence ammonia transportation? Because for bulk, yes, we already understand that it is that it can have a significant impact, and especially at containers. But ammonia is a different animal, of course. So how it will influence, if it will at all?
Yeah, that's a very good point, because at the moment, we're seeing all these, penalties. I would say, I haven't seen a significant effect yet. Of course, some, ammonia tankers are, built in China, some are built in, Singapore, Japan, everywhere in the world. But at the moment, we have not seen an increase in freight rates or any other penalties. But definitely we're keeping an eye on it. And yeah, like I say, this is another worry that the ammonia market doesn't need.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope that all these turbulences will not result in a significant, price jump or something like that, that the market will not be able to absorb in Q2. You already mentioned a bit about industrial demand that was also slow and didn't help the market in Q1. How do you see it developing in Q2? Are there any hopes that it will increase and support the market?
Yeah, the demand from the industrial sector, the acrylonitrile and the caprolactam has been a headache for the market, for a long time. I feel like I've been talking about it for the last year and a half. So, especially in Asia, the people I'm talking to are worried about the lack of demand, of industrial demand, in places like Korea and Taiwan. It all goes down to scheduled maintenance, or no demand from those markets. Again, I try to be optimistic, in this market. So I think maybe we'll see a bit more demand from acrylonitrile and caprolactam in Q2 and Q3, mainly in Asia, I would say. So that would be, a relief for the ammonia, producers. So yeah, I would think that maybe we'll see a bit more demand, also because it has been going on for so long, this lack of demand, that at some point there needs to be, these places need to buy, China needs to buy. So yeah, I'm keeping an eye out and, keeping my fingers crossed for more industrial demand.
Okay, thank you very much. And to finalize our discussion, I would like, as usually, ask you about the new project's development. And you already mentioned about Gulf Coast ammonia. That was one of those most important ones. So yeah, I hope we'll see indeed Vitons very soon from there. And what about Taman? Can you elaborate more? What is happening with the project? Is it close to coming on stream, or still it is more in limbo?
Yeah, both projects are, very important, for the ammonia market for sure, because, they're going to bring, more product into the market, both ammonia and urea in the case of Taman. So for Gulf Coast ammonia, like I said, we are waiting any minute now, to see more exports coming out of there. For Taman, the situation is a bit unclear. So we were thinking that maybe by the end of last year they would start exporting, but because of the unrest in the region, we have not seen much ammonia or urea coming out of it. I think slowly they're trying to start exports, and I think maybe we'll see some exports maybe in Q2 or Q3 from Taman. But yeah, it will definitely have an effect on the market because it's a big project. It's an ambitious project. They are going to export a lot of ammonia and urea. So yeah, let's see what happens. We're definitely keeping an eye on it over here at ICIS.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that was it from my side. Thank you, as always, for a very insightful discussion. And I wish you and ICIS all the best for the next quarter. And of course, I will be happy to host you again here in 3 months to discuss what happened and to see what is going to happen.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to all our viewers. And yeah, hope to see some of you at the IFA conference in Monaco. And yeah, we'll discuss all things ammonia in the next 3 months.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. As usually, I will leave all credentials of Sylvia and ICIS in the comments. Please let me know in the comments which other questions related to ammonia market you would like me to uncover, and I will be glad to do so with Sylvia next time. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and see you soon.